We promised that we would share more with you about the vision and values behind what we're doing as we're pioneering this missional monastic community. Today we start with the core of the vision, and that's God's desire for a resting place. Why did God create the heavens, the earth, and all of creation, and in particularly you and me? His desire is to dwell with man in a perfect world. He desired to be near us, to love us and be loved in return. And obviously the fall broke that original design, but it is still what the Lord is longing for. All that he does leads to the restoration of all things, and ultimately we will be in perfect fellowship with him again. But right now, where can he rest? Where can he have a home in a world that is saturated with selfishness, lust, iniquity, pride, and all these kind of things that directly oppose who he is? I mean, who of us could fully rest and relax in a room full of people who actively disagree with you and do everything you hate, let alone if those were your very children that you brought forth in love? And Jesus once said, while living in a hostile environment, "Foxes have holes and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man, where can he lay his head?" And then earlier by the mouth of Isaiah, he actually said, "Thus says the Lord, heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool, but where's the house that you will build for me? Where is my place of rest?" And then he answers his own question, and he says, "For all those things my hand has made, and all those things exist, says the Lord, but on this one will I look, on him who is poor and of contrite of spirit and trembles at my word. Because when I called, no one answered, and when I spoke, they did not hear, but they did evil before my eyes and chose that in which I do not delight."
Yeah, so what we see is that God can rest where his people love him and tremble before him, where they've left all their accusing and their evil ways behind them. And when there is utter trust and surrender of our wills to his, that is a place where he truly can come to rest, because nothing is then striving against his beauty, against his holiness, against his goodness, against what he does. He can be as he is, near us, without having to withhold himself to prevent us from being burned by his holy fire. So he can only be near those who are consecrated. And we see that reality when he came down to Mount Sinai in the desert. It says in Exodus 19 that he spoke to Moses, "You have seen what I did to the Egyptians, and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now therefore, if you will indeed obey my voice and keep my covenant, then you shall be a special treasure to me, above all people, for all the earth is mine. And you shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. But do not let the priests and the people break through to come up to me, lest he break out against them." And then the people said to Moses, "You speak, and we will hear, but let not God speak with us, lest we die." And Moses said to the people, "Do not fear, for God has come to test you, and that his fear may be before you, so that you may not sin." And that is the principle, that the fear of the Lord will keep us from sinning, from being out of unity with him, out of his will, out of the alignment with his actions. So therefore the people who are at rest with him, who do not strive with him, those are the people where he can rest, who walk with him in love and reverence.
Yeah, and we see this in the days after Jesus' return to heaven. His followers were walking so closely in his footsteps that they were called followers of the way. There was such holiness in their fellowship as they were so aligned with the will of God that even what we would consider a small sin could have grave consequences. To the shock of many, this became evident when Ananias and Sapphira decided to tell a half lie to look good in the eyes of men, and they died immediately. It actually says in Acts 5:11-14, "So great fear came upon all the church and upon all who heard these things. And through the hands of the apostles, many signs and wonders were done among the people. And they were all in one accord in Solomon's porch. Yet none of the rest dared join them, but the people esteemed them highly. And believers were increasingly added to the Lord, multitudes of both men and women."
Yeah, so a resting place in the end is about the focus of our love. Is God our ultimate focus? Is he our everything? Do we honor him as the great I am, the creator, the king, the bridegroom, the judge of the universe? Do we tremble before him in deep love and respect as we receive glimpses of who he truly is? Jesus summarizes this this great focus when he was asked what the great commandment is in all of the scriptures. And he said in Mark 12, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and all your strength. And this is the first commandment. And the second like it is this, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these." So by his grace, love, and indwelling spirit, we have been washed, and we grow in consistently walking in the Spirit, to be wholehearted, to love him with all, where our will is increasingly yielded to his, and our actions are increasingly in line with his ways. Now this is the core of a vision for a missional monastic community, to be centered around the Lord and his plans and his desires. We desire to be fully his, and that is our great pursuit. So before we do anything in ministry to the people around us, we want our lives to be ministry to God. And that's the foundation of being a priest. We minister to God, and then from that place of encounter, we turn around and minister to the people on his behalf, and with what comes from him. Where God rests, there he will be manifest, and the atmosphere and the environment will change. And then from that presence, other things are born. So if that upward ministry is the primary focus, loving him above everything, with everything, then he starts doing other things through us. So that's our desire, to have that always at the core. And we believe that out of that, many other things will be born that we will share about in the next time.